The focus of today's video is about what I think is one of the most amazing leaders of law enforcement that we have today. I recently found a YouTube channel called California Insider. It features interviews with some really incredible leaders, and they share their insight on all of the issues that are facing the citizens of California. And believe me, they are a lot. The latest video that I had the chance to watch was an interview with Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva. I was completely blown away. I firmly believe that this man is in the position that he is in for a time such as this. And this is not by coincidence. This is not by accident. This is a result of poor leadership and intentional implementation of horrible policies. But don't take my word for it. I'm in Central Florida. But take his word for it, because he and the brave men and women of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department are dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. I think one of the best analogies to describe what he does can be related to boxing. And in many fights, there's a 3 knockdown rule. And when you hear what he has to say, you'll see why this is a verbal example of a TKO.
Well, if you look at the entire country, look at New York City, Chicago, Rochester, New York, Rochester, Minnesota, Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, San Francisco, LA City, Austin, Texas. There was this big push to defund law enforcement and let's reimagine public safety. And all those agencies, municipalities did that. They defunded. And then the backlash was immediate because violent crime just skyrocketed. Only one government entity in the entire nation has doubled down on the defunding ideology, and that is the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. They defunded $145 million in my first fiscal year in office, and I started with a $101 million deficit. They took another $116 million away in the second fiscal year. Then they followed up by taking 1,281 positions away, budgeted positions, and what happened? Skyrocketing homicide rate. 94% increase in 2 years. The board won't even admit that publicly.
That's knockdown one.
Well, the public face of their plan is, oh, we want to reimagine. We're going to reinvest. They have all these big flowery ideas. Let's reinvest in the community. Let's reinvest in social engineering is what they're thinking. We're going to go to the root cause of crime and let's spend our money there so we don't have to pay for the consequences. Well, that's like offering a person in the desert who is dying of thirst and heat, let's plant a tree. Does absolutely nothing for that person. That is a mentality, the woke mentality of the Board of Supervisors and all of their flunkies. They're surrounded by all their deputies ascribe to the same ideology. And they keep saying that cops are the problem. Cops are always a problem. You cannot be trusted. You're defaming us. Ultimately, you're raising the level of mistrust in the community. So when deputies have to do their work, now they're facing opposition. Say, well, I'm not going to listen to you because I was said you're dirty. We can't trust you. So that defaming has consequences.
That's knockdown two. And the wokeouts are wobbly on their feet.
Because we work in the community 24/7. I always said it, we're the only government agency dumb enough to answer the phone at 2 in the morning. No one else does. So we do know exactly what the community wants because we're there with them around the clock. So while the supervisors are hiding in their offices behind plexiglass and Zoom and all that, and they never go out, they never face the wrath of the public, we're doing it every day, all day long. 2.16 million contacts. We had 11 uses of force resulting in a fatality. That's 0.00005% of all law enforcement contacts. Yet I'll have people, particularly the Black Lives Matter advocates, Or the activists say, oh my God, we want to make sure that deputies, our people don't come in contact with deputies because it could harm them. Literally, they talk about that. If they see the data, we provided this data to them, they just ignore it. They'll say, oh, you can't trust the data that comes from the sheriff. Well, we count the actual bodies. I have a 94% increase in homicides in 2 years. It's enormous. I mean, in modern times, anybody had a 10% increase of homicide, there'd be people called to the carpet, there'd be an angry crowd at town hall, want to recall the mayor, the chief of police, and we get 94% and all we hear is crickets. Like, so? Because it doesn't affect them. The only thing they're concerned about what affects their re-election. That's it. They could care less about what affects people in the community. And the people they appoint to all of these different commissions, committees, working groups, focus groups, you name it, they all have the same ideology. I'll refer it loosely as a woke ideology. No other opinion gets in. So you know, garbage in, garbage out. That's why every single plan that the city has, the county has regarding homelessness, violent crime is destined to failure because it's not based on reality. And I want it to be based on reality. So I'm the bad guy because I'm pointing out the obvious. The emperor has no clothes.
That's knockdown 3. Stop the fight. Call it done. And we're stopping it here. But the sheriff throws at least another 5 knockdowns in this interview. This man does not hold his tongue. He is not trying to be politically correct. We saw this example play out in various cities across our nation. They all had the same horrendous result. And there were so many victims who lost their lives that didn't have to. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is the largest in our country. They see it all. I want to say to Sheriff Villanueva, brother, I am so proud of the job that you are doing. I hate the fact that you have people who wouldn't do the job that you and the men and women of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department do for 1 minute. And the reason why those people that you called out are working against you is because you've exposed their scheme, their lies, and their hypocrisy. And they can't stand that. We have too few leaders today who are willing to stand up and tell the truth, regardless of the consequences, like Sheriff Villanueva is willing to do. I encourage everyone who sees this to go to his website. It's listed. And lastly, Sheriff Villanueva, let me say that my wife and I are praying for you, and I would be honored to present you with a Support Our Shields plaque because, sir, you embody everything that inspired me to start this movement. So everyone who sees this, please follow the links in the description and see how you can support Sheriff Alex Villanueva. Continue to support this channel, like and share it with everyone that you can, but most importantly, continue to support our shields. God bless.